We've all heard about the concept of the higher self, but have you ever wondered what it truly means to connect with it instantly? I'm talking about bending reality, shaping it to your will, not in some distant future, but right now. Imagine if there was a way to access this part of you, the one that doesn't get bogged down by the noise of daily life, the one that sees things clearly, that knows where you should go and what you should do. You've probably felt hints of this higher self before, maybe in moments of deep insight or clarity. But what if you could access that state at will, on command?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Here's the thing, your higher self isn't some mystical figure floating outside of you. It's you, but without the baggage. It's the part of you that already knows the answers before you even ask the questions. So why don't we tap into it more often? Because we're distracted. We're lost in the noise, the endless stream of thoughts, the what-ifs and should-haves that clog our mental space. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a room full of shouting voices. You're probably wondering, how do I silence that noise? And that's the key, isn't it? To connect with your higher self means you have to quiet the distractions. It's not about trying harder, but about letting go of the things that cloud your perception. Think about it. How often do you actually stop and listen, really listen, to that inner voice? Not the voice of fear or doubt or anxiety, but the one that's calm, still, and always there, waiting for you to tune in. The first step to instantly connecting with your higher self is to understand that it's already there. You don't have to go on a retreat, meditate for days, or undergo some kind of elaborate ritual. It's about creating space. Start by asking yourself, what is filling my mind right now? Is it a worry? Is it 1,000 little tasks you think you need to do? What if you could let all of that go, just for a moment? What would you hear then? When you begin to clear that space, you'll notice something. Reality starts to shift. It's subtle at first, but undeniable. Things that seemed important suddenly lose their grip on you. Problems you thought were unsolvable begin to unravel, and solutions appear without effort. This isn't magic, it's alignment. When you're connected to your higher self, you aren't forcing reality to bend, you're simply stepping into a version of reality where what you need already exists. But here's the catch: you have to trust it. You have to trust that inner voice more than the noise of the world. And that's hard, isn't it? We're so used to trusting what's loudest, what seems most urgent. But urgency is often a lie. Stillness, on the other hand, is truth. The more you trust it, the more you'll see that your higher self has always been guiding you, even when you weren't aware of it. Before we move on, ask yourself this: what would my life look like if I trusted my higher self completely? If I let go of the fear, the doubt, the need to control? Sit with that for a moment, and let's continue. Now that we've touched on the idea of trusting your higher self, let's dive deeper into how that trust directly translates into bending reality. You see, once you're in tune with your higher self, your perception of reality shifts, and when your perception shifts, reality follows. It's not about controlling things in a forceful way, but about aligning so deeply with your true nature that reality bends around your intentions. Let's break down how this works. Think about a time when you were in a state of flow, when you were so present, so aligned, that everything just seemed to click. Maybe you were working on a project and the ideas came effortlessly. Maybe you were in a conversation and everything just flowed naturally. In those moments, you weren't second-guessing yourself, were you? You weren't overthinking. You were just being. That's the state we're talking about. That's what happens when you're connected to your higher self. You're no longer forcing yourself to fit into the world. Instead, the world starts to fit around you. But how do you sustain that connection? It's simple, but it's not always easy. You have to let go of control. And that's scary, isn't it? We're wired to think that controlling outcomes is how we succeed. But the truth is, control is an illusion. The more you try to control things, the more resistance you create. Resistance is what blocks you from your higher self, from that state of flow where reality bends to your will. So I'll ask you this: what are you trying to control in your life right now? What if you stop trying to control it? What if you let go, even just a little? What would happen then? Most people think that letting go means losing something. But letting go is actually the ultimate act of power. When you let go, you stop trying to force things to happen, and instead, you allow things to happen. You trust that your higher self, that deeper part of you, already knows the way. And when you trust that, reality starts to reorder itself to meet you. Here's a practical way to start the next time you feel resistance. Whether it's in the form of stress, worry, or doubt, pause. Ask yourself, is this coming from my higher self or from fear? If it's fear, let it go. You don't need it. It's not serving you. And then listen. Listen to what your higher self is telling you in that moment. It might be subtle, but it's always there. The more you practice this, the stronger the connection becomes, and the more you'll see that reality truly is malleable, bendable to your will. Before we move on to the final part, think about this: what would change in your life if you stopped resisting and started flowing? Think about that deeply, and let's continue. Now, let's talk about mastery. The true mastery of bending reality comes when you realize this: there is no separation between you and your higher self. They are one and the same. When you fully embody this understanding, you stop seeing life as something happening to you and start seeing it as something happening through you. What does that mean? It means that every experience you're having, every challenge, every success, every setback, is not something happening to an external version of you. It's happening as a reflection of your internal state. When you're aligned with your higher self, everything you experience in the external world is a direct reflection of that alignment. When you're disconnected, life feels chaotic, out of control. But when you're connected, everything flows. Opportunities show up. Solutions appear. You no longer have to chase after things, they come to you. But here's the deeper truth: reality isn't something you bend once and then walk away from. It's a constant state of co-creation. Every moment, you're creating your reality based on your alignment with your higher self. So, the key is to maintain that alignment, to live from that place consistently. This is where most people struggle. They feel connected in moments of meditation or stillness, but when life gets hectic, they lose that connection. The secret is to bring that stillness with you into every moment of your life. It's not about retreating from the world, it's about being so anchored in your higher self that no matter what's happening around you, you remain aligned. So ask yourself this final question: what would my life look like if I lived every moment from the perspective of my higher self? What if you stopped reacting to life and started creating it, moment by moment? The truth is, you already have everything you need to bend reality. It's not about gaining something external, it's about realizing what's already within you. When you trust that, when you live from that place, reality will bend not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the part of you that knows how to create it. Your higher self is always waiting for you to connect. Are you ready? Now that you've grasped the concept of co-creating with your higher self, let's take this one step further. There's a profound realization that comes when you stop seeing reality as something out there and recognize that it's being generated from in here within you every single moment. The higher self isn't just a guide, it's the creator. And you, in your purest form, are that creator. So what does it mean to step into this limitless creation? It means realizing that the boundaries you perceive in your life, the limitations, the obstacles, the things you think you can't change are just reflections of your current state of mind. They're not absolute truths. They're flexible, malleable, ready to shift the moment you do. You've probably experienced this before, even if it was brief. Maybe there was a time when you felt unstoppable, like everything was falling into place effortlessly. What if that wasn't a fluke? What if that's your natural state? The question I want you to ask yourself now is this: what limitations am I accepting as truth that actually aren't? Think about it carefully. Maybe it's the belief that you're stuck in your current job, or that you'll never meet the right person, or that you're not capable of achieving a certain goal. What if none of that was true? What if the only thing holding you back from the reality you desire is the belief that you're separate from your higher self? Here's the thing: the more you connect with your higher self, the more you start to see through these illusions. You start to realize that the constraints you've been living under are self-imposed. And once you see that, you can break free from them. You begin to understand that your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations, they're all shaping your reality in real time. And when you align those thoughts, beliefs, and expectations with the vision of your higher self, reality bends effortlessly to match that vision. But let's get practical here. How do you actually step into this limitless creation? It's not just about having a positive mindset or thinking good thoughts. It's about embodying the frequency of your higher self in every action, every decision, every interaction. That means living as though the reality you want is already here. Not just hoping for it, but knowing it. Here's an exercise throughout your day. Start acting as though you're already connected to your higher self. Every moment, ask yourself, what would my higher self do right now? How would they respond to this situation? You'll notice that your actions change. You'll make decisions from a place of calm confidence rather than fear or doubt. You'll start to see opportunities where before there were only obstacles. And as you do this, you'll begin to notice that external circumstances start to shift too. This brings us to a critical point. Reality is feedback. It's always reflecting back to you the state of your internal world. If you're experiencing chaos, it's because there's chaos inside. If you're experiencing flow, it's because you're in alignment. The more you align with your higher self, the more reality reflects that alignment back to you. So the key is to continuously tune into that inner state, to stay in that place of alignment no matter what's happening around you. Let me ask you this: what would happen if you stopped reacting to life and started creating it intentionally every moment of every day? What if you could live in a constant state of flow, where reality bends to your will not because you're forcing it, but because you're in such perfect harmony with your higher self that creation becomes effortless? Before we move forward, take a moment to really think about this. What would change in your life if you fully embraced your role as a creator? Let that sink in, and let's continue. Now let's talk about what happens when you make this connection with your higher self a permanent part of your life. It's one thing to have fleeting moments of connection, where you feel aligned and everything flows. It's another thing entirely to live from that place consistently. This is where true power lies, when you're not just dipping in and out of alignment, but living from that space 24/7. When you live in alignment with your higher self, something incredible happens. You become limitless. The limitations that once seemed so real begin to dissolve. You start to see that the obstacles you thought were blocking your path were never really there. They were projections of your own fear, doubt, and uncertainty. And when you clear those projections, the path becomes clear. But here's the deeper truth: your higher self doesn't just guide you to the path, it creates the path. When you're fully aligned, reality doesn't just bend to your will, it reshapes itself entirely to meet the frequency you're emitting. You're no longer working hard to achieve your goals, you're attracting them effortlessly because you're vibrating at the level of those goals. Think about it this way: everything you want already exists. The version of you that has what you desire is already out there, in a parallel reality. The only thing separating you from that version of yourself is your current state of mind. When you align with your higher self, you collapse the distance between where you are and where you want to be. You become the version of yourself that already has everything you desire, and reality shifts to match that new version of you. This is why connecting with your higher self is the ultimate life hack. Once you're in alignment, you stop chasing after things. You stop forcing outcomes. Instead, you become a magnet for the things you desire. They come to you effortlessly because you're resonating at the same frequency as those desires. So ask yourself this: what would my life look like if I fully stepped into my power as a creator? If I stopped doubting myself, stopped limiting myself, and started living from the perspective of my limitless higher self every single day? This is where the magic happens. When you fully embrace your higher self, when you stop seeing yourself as separate from it, you step into a state of pure creation. You realize that you're not just a participant in reality, you're the creator of it. And when you live from that place, reality bends to your will effortlessly, because you're no longer operating from a place of limitation. You're operating from a place of pure, limitless potential. Now that you've seen what's possible, the final step is to fully integrate this understanding into every aspect of your life. This isn't just about having moments of clarity or bursts of insight. This is about living as the master of your own reality every single day. It's about making the connection with your higher self so strong that nothing can shake you from it. So how do you become the master of your own reality? It starts with one simple truth: you are already the master. You just need to remember it. Every time you feel disconnected, every time you feel like reality is happening to you instead of through you, it's because you've forgotten who you truly are. You've forgotten that you and your higher self are one, that there's no separation between you and the infinite power of creation. The key to mastering your reality is to stay connected to that truth, no matter what's happening around you. It's about trusting that your higher self is always guiding you, even when things seem chaotic or uncertain. It's about knowing that the path is always being created in real time, based on your internal state. So I'll leave you with this final question: are you ready to step into your full power as the creator of your reality? Because once you do, there's no going back. Once you fully embrace your higher self, you'll never see the world the same way again. You'll realize that there are no limits, no obstacles, only infinite possibilities waiting for you to claim them. And the best part, you don't have to wait. You can connect with your higher self right now, in this very moment, and start bending reality as you wish. The only question is, will you? The choice is yours.